This is Rob Tebbutt for Boxing Social in association with Betfred. Delighted, as always, to be joined by Olympic gold medalist Luke Campbell. You brought the sun with you. It's sunny in Yorkshire, Luke.
Yeah, it doesn't happen often, but it's here, so you got to make the most of it.
Before we come on to the very confusing changes with the WBC lightweight division, how are you? Obviously, I caught up with you at the first week of lockdown. We're a few weeks removed from that now. How have you been finding it?
Yeah, it is what it is. Everybody's in the same boat, and we have to stay home, and stay healthy. And that's it. While this horrible virus is attacking the world, we've got to do our bit by staying at home and being healthy and just looking after ourselves.
How have the
until
Sorry, Luke. How have the family been? Because you're obviously used to being away. Even like going back to when you were an amateur, you used to being away, and now you're not just home, but you're forcibly staying at home. How's that been for you?
Yeah, it's obviously it's certainly a change, but on the other hand, I'm really enjoying just spending time with my family. As much as I want to get back out in the ring and compete and back in the gym and stuff like that, we're in a very unique situation with what's going on in the world, and I'm blessed to be at home with my family and safe and healthy, and I'm enjoying time with my family.
Well, that's good to hear, mate. As I say, for people such as yourself who are based away from their home, it must be nice to grab a little bit of time at home. Hopefully, not too much longer, but we will see. So, anyway, last time I spoke to you, you were I think we were at the time kind of waiting, and it was about to be postponed. Your bout with Javier Fortuna that now has been postponed. Since then, there seems to have been initially it looked as though some development with the WBC lightweight title with Devin Haney looking to have been reinstated. Now that I've been told by Mauricio Suleiman, the president of the WBC, that that's not the case. That hasn't happened yet. What's your understanding of the situation currently, Luke?
Just basically what everybody else knows. I don't blame Devin Haney for doing what he's done. But obviously, on the other hand, if it did go ahead, obviously I'd be devastated and very upset and disappointed because, this is my dream. The WBC belt for me is my dream. I just believe it's the best belt and the most prestige belt out of them all, and it's been my dream from being a young lad to be able to fight for that belt and win it. So for someone to say I'm fighting for it and then sort of potentially take it away from me, it's quite devastating and upsetting. But listen, I don't blame him for doing what he did. He's gone out there and he's on his own path, and he's done that, and that's that. And I just got to wait and see what the WBC say now. Hopefully they'll make the right decision and continue the fight planned, and still hopefully for a world title.
How frustrating has it been? Boxing in general has a lot of belts and a lot of politics and a lot of kind of things that go on behind the scenes, even more so than any other sport. But the WBC 135-pound division has probably been one of the most affected by that kind of thing. With obviously going back to when Mikey Garcia had the WBC title, of course you were mandatory for that. Then it looked as though you were going to box for a vacant title against Devin Haney, and then you fought Vasyl Lomachenko. Talk to me about kind of the period of the last 18 months and what that's been like for you, because obviously a lot of that period of time has been spent for you waiting around.
Yeah, I mean, there has been a lot of waiting around. I beat Mendy in September in 2018, and then I've been mandatory. I think I was mandatory for 11 months, 12 months, mandatory, while Mikey Garcia was fighting at 2 weights above the lightweight. He was fighting up at welterweight, but he still had the belt, and I patiently and respectfully waited for 11 to 12 months just to fight for that title, and then the actual guy that was ranked that I should have been facing was the Russian guy, because he was ranked the number 2 and I was ranked number 1 to fight for the title. But it's as we know, politics or whatever else got involved, and the tables turned, and I ended up fighting Lemachenko for the title in the end, and here we are now. I am very grateful though that the WBC give me a second opportunity, obviously, to fight for this title again. I'm very grateful for that opportunity. So I just hope now that it can stay that way, and I can still get to fight for that title in this next fight.
Well, I spoke to Mauricio. Mauricio said that both yourself and Javier Fortuna, who of course you were scheduled to fight for the full version of the WBC title, both have rights. Reading between the lines, he said to me that essentially the WBC will be honouring the fight between you and Javier Fortuna, but he couldn't confirm whether or not it was going to be for the full title yet or an interim title. Would you have an interest in boxing for an interim belt?
I have an interest in doing what was ordered. What we agreed. What we agreed passes on what the fight was ordered. That's my interest. It's my dream to be able to fight for that world title and win a world title. Like I say, I'd be very disappointed and upset really if it weren't for the world title, because that's what was agreed. But I guess it's in their hands.
Seems like, I spoke to you about this the last couple of times I've spoken to you about this. Yourself and Devin Haney, it seems to be an ongoing thing now. It seems to be pretty much every time I look on his social media, he's talking about you, which is interesting. Well, he's talking about pretty much every other lightweight, but still. That looks to me as if it's kind of got all the makings of a big fight regardless down the line. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I would. I think it's a huge fight between me and Haney. He's a big name over in America. I believe I'm a big name here in the UK. And that fight has potential to be a fantastic fight and, a major fight rather here in the UK or in America. And obviously Haney's a good talker. I've met him once. I've met him once face to face, and he was respectful, and so was I, but then when I got in the ring, I don't think it was him, but a member of his team was just shouting all the way through the fight like absolute nonsense, and then it wasn't till a couple of months ago I seen a video of him saying that I've been talking loads of rubbish and I'm this and that and he hates me. I don't even know what I've done to upset him. But listen, I don't really care what I've done to upset him. This is boxing. And at the end of the day, we get in the ring and we fight.
Yeah, I think it was my interview that I did with him. I interviewed him in Vegas before Wilder Fury 2, and he said that Luke Campbell's always talking. Luke Campbell talks too much, and I want to shut him up. And I was puzzled because you're probably one of the more soft-spoken fighters who I come into contact with, Luke.
Yeah, it surprised me as well. Really surprised me too. But listen, it is what it is. It's all exciting. It's all excitement. It builds fights very good, and this is what it's about. It's an entertainment game, and I don't take any of it to heart. This is boxing. This is what we do. And at the end of the day, we get in the ring and we fight. But the build-up can be very exciting as well.
When I spoke to him in the same interview, I asked him, because he came over about 6 months ago and did some media. He did like a media day where he came to London with Eddie and he met some of the press. So I asked him whether or not he'd be open to coming over to box in the UK. He said at the time, no, absolutely not. Why do I need to? Luke Campbell, come over here. Now, obviously, nobody really knows what's going on with the coronavirus lockdown and the shutdown, but it would seem to me, potentially at least, likely that boxing would be happening in the UK before it happens in the USA. Do you think that would happen, and do you think that might entice Haney to come over if the WBC order the fight and you can box in the UK? It would make sense for that fight to happen over here, no?
Yeah, possibly. I I do believe that we're going to be months ahead of America in competing in the UK before America even starts the boxing. You know, they might not even start boxing this year, and depending on how the virus goes, and you know, but there might not even be any shows in America this year. Who knows? And if it is, and if there are shows, it'll probably be very late on in the year. So I do believe that my fight with Fortuna could take place in the UK way before American boxing even starts.
Okay, all right, Luke. Well, I think we're probably about there, mate. As I say, so every time I speak to you, it's about a new development with the WBC title. But hopefully, as I say, I spoke to Mauricio the day before yesterday, I think. The days are kind of blurring together at the minute. But it looks as though we're a couple of days from a resolution. So I suppose I'll speak to you in a few days once we get that resolution. But it's always a pleasure catching up with you.
Fingers crossed. And always a pleasure catching up with you and talking boxing. And there's not many divisions out there that are making noise like the lightweight division is. So it's a very exciting division to be in, and I'm blessed to be a part of it. And I just want to go out there now and showcase my skills and show everyone how good I am. I want to win the title, defend it, and beat whoever's in front of me.
I actually, before I let you go, I spoke to Ismail Salas recently, and he said that if you don't end up fighting Javier Fortuna, you can always fight Jorge Linares again. So
again, it's Linares is a warrior. He's a great champion, and that's another big fight, an exciting fight at that. And I'd love to get my revenge back on him.
Okay, all right, Luke. Well, you take care, mate. Enjoy the sun.
Real trying.
And I will catch up with you soon, mate. All right, Luke.
Yeah. Cheers. Take care.
Thanks, Luke. Bye bye.
Bye bye.